Imagine thinking you're speaking with one of the richest men in the world. Imagine hearing his voice, calling you by name, comforting you, promising you a future. Now imagine realizing too late that it was all a lie. Tonight's story is about a grandmother in Charlotte who lost everything: her savings, her peace of mind, and nearly her life to one of the most terrifying scams in modern history. This isn't just about money. It's about betrayal, manipulation, and a cruel weapon: artificial intelligence. Stay with us until the end, because what happened to her will make you question every call you've ever answered. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to hit subscribe, click the bell icon, and share this with a friend, because trust me, you'll want someone else to know how dark these scams can get. It began like so many online scams do. A lonely evening. A phone buzzing with a notification. Marjorie Wallace, a 72-year-old widow in Charlotte, sat in her dimly lit living room, sipping tea, the TV murmuring softly in the background. Since her husband's death, she had grown used to the silence, too used to it. Then came the message. "Hello Marjorie, this is Elon Musk. I know this sounds unusual, but I wanted to personally thank you for supporting Tesla." Marjorie blinked, rereading it. Surely, this was spam. But curiosity tugged at her. She had, in fact, invested in Tesla stock years earlier, though she sold it to pay bills. How would anyone know? She almost deleted the message. Almost. Instead, she replied, "Is this real? The Elon Musk?" The typing bubbles appeared instantly. "Yes, it's me. I like to reach out personally sometimes. And to be honest, I could use someone like you to help me test something very exciting." Marjorie laughed out loud. "Oh sure. Elon Musk needs me," she muttered. Still, her hands shook as she typed back. 2 nights later, Marjorie's phone rang. Caller ID, private number. When she answered, she froze. It was his voice. The deep, distinct tone. The cadence she had heard in countless interviews. "Marjorie, it's Elon. I hope you don't mind me calling. I just wanted to hear your voice." Her heart nearly stopped. It was him. It had to be. The conversation went on for nearly 20 minutes. He spoke warmly, charmingly, even joked about sending her front row seats to Mars. But what struck Marjorie most was how he knew things. Her late husband's name. The year she retired. Even the church she used to attend. How could a scammer know all that? By the time the call ended, Marjorie's cheeks hurt from smiling. For the first time in years, she felt seen. Wanted. Important. Weeks passed. The calls became frequent. Sometimes messages, sometimes voice notes, all in that familiar voice. "Marjorie, I have a private investment opportunity. Not many people will ever know about this. But I trust you." He spoke of a secret project, something beyond Tesla and SpaceX. He claimed he needed investors who believed in him, not Wall Street sharks. At first, Marjorie hesitated. But he reassured her with words that pierced her loneliness. "You're not just an investor, Marjorie. You're special to me." And so it began. The transfers. $10,000 the first week. $25,000 the next. Then daily ATM withdrawals, buying gift cards he claimed were needed for testing encrypted payment systems. The scam wasn't just about money anymore. It was about trust. And he had all of hers. Her daughter noticed first. "Mom, why are you always on your phone? And why are there all these Amazon and Google Play charges on your statements?" Marjorie brushed her off. "You wouldn't understand. This is important. This is my chance to leave something for you, for the grandkids." Her daughter tried to argue, but Marjorie snapped. "Don't you dare call him fake. I've spoken to him. I know his voice. He cares about me." The words hung in the air like poison. It wasn't just her savings she was losing. It was her grip on reality. Month after month, the money flowed out. Wire transfers. Cash withdrawals. Gift card codes sent through encrypted apps. Her life savings, over $600,000, gone in less than a year. By the time the bank raised alarms, it was too late. The money had vanished, scattered across international accounts, untraceable. And then, he disappeared. The calls stopped. The messages went silent. The man she thought she loved, the man she thought was Elon Musk, was gone. Marjorie sat in her living room again, the same spot where it all began. Only now, there was no tea, no laughter, no warmth in her voice. Just silence. And a bank account reduced to nothing. And the cruelest part. Deep down, she still wanted to believe he might call again. But what she didn't know was that the nightmare wasn't over. Because when you've been scammed this deeply, the damage goes far beyond money. At first, Marjorie waited by the phone. Every night, she sat in her recliner, phone clutched in her hand, waiting for the familiar buzz, the warm voice that used to call her darling, or my secret partner. But the calls never came. The messages stopped. At first, she told herself he was busy. Elon Musk was, after all, the richest man in the world. Maybe he was on a rocket launch. Maybe he was unveiling a new car. But deep down, an ache began to grow. Something was wrong. The silence stretched into weeks. Then months. And the cruelest part, she still wanted to believe. Her daughter returned, this time with paperwork. Mom, I've been talking to the bank. You've lost everything. Over $600,000. That's all of Dad's retirement money. Gone. Marjorie's hands trembled as she reached for the papers, scanning the numbers, the withdrawals, the transfers. But instead of breaking down, she grew defensive. It's not gone. It's invested. He promised me. Her daughter's voice cracked. Mom, it wasn't him. It was a scammer. They used a fake voice, fake emails. Elon Musk doesn't even know who you are. The words sliced through the air. Marjorie's face hardened. You don't understand. I spoke to him. I heard his voice. Don't you dare call me a fool. Tears welled in her daughter's eyes. Mom, you're not a fool. You're a victim. But Marjorie didn't believe her. Not yet. Days turned into restless nights. Marjorie began replaying the old voice notes on her phone. Again and again. She clung to them like lifelines, whispering along with his words. You're special to me. This is just the beginning. Trust me. She would close her eyes and almost feel him sitting beside her, reassuring her. Soon, she stopped answering calls from her daughter. Stopped going to church. Stopped meeting friends for lunch. Her world shrank to one thing, the illusion of him. But then, the paranoia began. One cold January evening, Marjorie drove to the grocery store. As she pushed her cart back to her car, she noticed a man leaning against a van, watching her. When their eyes met, he looked away. But something about his posture, his stillness, chilled her. She drove home quickly, locking every door behind her. That night, she dreamed of masked men counting her stolen money, laughing as her house burned down. When she woke, she swore she heard footsteps outside her window. Was someone watching her? Or was it just her mind unraveling? Her daughter finally convinced her to speak with the police. Inside the Charlotte precinct, Marjorie sat nervously as an officer explained. These scams are international. The people who did this to you are likely overseas. They use AI to mimic voices now. They can make anyone sound real. Even celebrities. Marjorie's face crumpled. But I loved him. The officer shifted uncomfortably. Ma'am, I'm sorry. But this wasn't love. It was fraud. Her daughter gripped her hand, but Marjorie pulled away. The shame was unbearable. She felt stripped naked, her money gone, her dignity shattered, her trust mocked. Weeks later, a new terror arrived. A plain white envelope. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper. 4 words, typed in bold. Did you miss me? Marjorie's knees buckled. She clutched the paper to her chest, shaking violently. Her daughter insisted it was just a cruel prank, maybe even a leftover scam attempt. But Marjorie wasn't so sure. That night, she swore she heard his voice again. Not through her phone, but outside her bedroom window. Whispering. Calling her name. The paranoia consumed her. Every phone call felt like a trap. Every knock at the door sent her heart racing. She unplugged her landline, pulled curtains across every window, and stopped going outside altogether. Her refrigerator emptied. Her house grew cold. She sat in the dark, clutching her phone like a holy relic, listening to the old recordings until her battery died. Her daughter begged her to move in, but Marjorie refused. "If he calls again, I need to be here. He promised he'd come back for me." Her daughter wept. "Mom, he's never coming back." But Marjorie couldn't let go. Then one night, the impossible happened. Her phone lit up. A voice message. She opened it with trembling hands. And there it was, his voice. Smooth, confident, familiar. "Marjorie, did you think I'd forgotten you? I'll never forget you. But if you really love me, you'll prove it one last time." Her heart pounded. He was back. But this time, something in the voice felt wrong. Distorted. Less human. Almost mechanical. Still, she listened to the instructions. Withdraw $5,000. Buy gift cards. Send the codes. Her hands shook as she considered it. Her daughter's warnings echoed in her head. The police officer's words, "It's not real." And yet, hearing his voice again was like oxygen. She couldn't resist. Marjorie stared at her glowing phone screen. The voice message replayed in her ears. "If you really love me, you'll prove it one last time." Her chest tightened. Was this real? Had he truly returned? She tried to reason with herself. The police said it was fake. Her daughter begged her to let go. But her heart, the lonely, desperate heart of a widow, clung to the words. She whispered into the phone, "I'll do it. Anything for you." The next morning, Marjorie shuffled into the bank. Her hands trembled as she withdrew $5,000, nearly all she had left in her retirement account. The teller gave her a strange look. "Ma'am, are you sure about this?" Marjorie forced a smile. "It's for someone I trust." She drove to 3 different stores, buying stacks of prepaid gift cards. Her bag was heavy with plastic and receipts. At home, she carefully scratched the back of each card, typing the codes into a message and hitting send. Her heart raced. She whispered into the empty room, "Now you'll come back, won't you?" That night, a new message arrived. Her pulse quickened as she pressed play. But this time, the voice wasn't smooth. It was distorted, mechanical, glitching between words. "Marjorie, thank you. You've been useful. Useful." The word echoed like a gunshot. It wasn't love. It was never love. She was just useful. Her phone slipped from her trembling hands. She collapsed into her chair, sobbing, clutching her chest. Every illusion shattered in an instant. The next week was a blur. Marjorie stopped eating, stopped sleeping. The house grew cold, dishes piled in the sink, curtains sealed tight. Her daughter knocked on the door daily, begging her to open up. But Marjorie couldn't face her. The shame was too great. At night, she thought she heard his voice outside again, calling her name. Sometimes whispering through the walls. Sometimes laughing. Once, she even swore she saw a figure standing in her yard at midnight, staring at her window. But when she turned on the light, no one was there. Her sanity was unraveling. One stormy evening, as rain pounded the windows, her phone buzzed. Her breath caught. A video call. The caller ID read, "Elon Musk." With shaking fingers, she answered. The screen flickered, and there he was. His face. His smile. "Marjorie," he said, voice clear and calm. "It's me. I've missed you." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "You came back." But then, his face glitched. The smile froze. The eyes warped. The voice stuttered. The image broke apart into static. And then, darkness. The call ended. Her phone screen displayed one final message. Game over. The next morning, her daughter arrived. After hours of unanswered knocks, she called the police. They forced open the door. The house was silent. Curtains drawn. Air heavy. In the recliner sat Marjorie. Phone in her lap. Eyes open, staring blankly. Her heart had stopped sometime in the night. On the screen of her phone was the final message. Game over. The officers exchanged grim looks. Another AI scam victim, one muttered. But to her daughter, it wasn't about technology or fraud. It was about betrayal. Her mother didn't just lose her money. She lost her mind. The case file would eventually be closed. The money unrecovered. The criminals unpunished. But the true horror wasn't in the stolen dollars. It was in the stolen trust. Because in the end, Marjorie died not from poverty, but from broken hope. The scammers didn't just empty her bank account. They emptied her soul. And the terrifying truth? With artificial intelligence, this wasn't the last case. It was only the beginning.